If you are a woman living her best hot mess express life while simultaneously crushing it, and you're craving more clarity, purpose, and excellence, get ready because you're in the right spot. I am your host, Chelsea DeBruin-Colbert, and I want to welcome you to Season 2 of All Things Excellence, the podcast, where I'll be bringing you all the inspiration and insights your excellence-seeking heart desires. This season, I'm stepping back into chasing big, bold, and absolutely terrifying goals, sharing every honest step and misstep along the way. We're continuing our beloved Unscripted series, featuring live clarity coaching sessions with guests just like you, and diving deep into raw behind-the-scenes stories of powerhouse women founders I am wildly obsessed with, whose journeys will fuel your own. So grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready to discover just how close you are to the life your soul is calling you to create. This is All Things Excellence. Hey, All Things Excellence fam. Welcome to our official kickoff of our 7-week Financial Friday series. We're going to be talking about investing, budgeting, how to cut your grocery bill, and even how to maximize travel points on your credit card. Today, I get to welcome Hilary Hoff. And I met her at a women's conference a few years ago, and the way she spoke about financial planning was so far beyond, you need to take some money and you need to put it into place and you need to have an investment and you need to build wealth. She's all about women's empowerment. So she's a certified financial planner who's located in Wisconsin, but just so you know, she can help you absolutely anywhere in the country. And she has a passion for bringing financial literacy and independence to everyone she serves. She specializes in planning for female entrepreneurs and the special needs community, and empowers others to take control of their financial journey, ensuring they're able to live the life they love. The mission of her team. And what I can tell y'all is when I sat there and listened to your presentation, I thought this is so far from just a boring PowerPoint and investing 101. You really speak to women as to why they need to grab a hold of their finances, understand where they're at, start investing, start saving, start doing all of the things. So let's start at the beginning. How did you even get into this? Like, what made you go, I want to be a financial planner?
Yeah. Well, thanks, Chelsea, for that introduction. I don't know if I can live up to that, but excited to be here today. Yeah, I actually was in corporate finance and accounting for about 10 years. And
I didn't know that.
yeah, my husband and I were clients here at Northwestern Mutual first. And I had never even thought about this as a career. We were clients because, and I always tell this to everybody, even with a background in finance and accounting, I had no idea what I was doing on the personal finance side.
Hmm.
And it's so common. We assume everybody has this all figured out,
Yeah, we
but
do.
it's not true. I work
No.
with highly successful, highly educated individuals that have never taken a finance class. I mean, you think about physicians, even often, like I still work with a lot of my old colleagues that are MBAs and CPAs and, VPs of finance in corporate, and it's just a different world.
Yeah.
And so,
I feel that though. I feel that there's that sense of, I'm a smart human. I went to school for this. Like, I should know what I'm doing. But
nobody
everything's,
talks about it,
yeah,
right?
but
Like,
it's constantly changing. There's just no way, right? If you're not showing up to work every day and working on this, there's really no way that you would know what to do.
exactly. Yeah. So even working in corporate finance, we didn't know. So we came in and I was just introduced to all these strategies and things that I'd never thought about. And I just wanted to know, are we doing enough? Are we doing too much? Should we be doing different things? And after talking about it, I remember getting done with the first meeting. I'm like calling my parents, calling my sister, are you guys doing this? Like, you need to do this. And that's kind of when I started the conversation. I'm like, okay, there was nobody in this office that looked like me. There were no other female advisors. And I'm like, I want to help more people like me. I want to have a bigger impact, more of a direct impact on individuals and families and represent women and help other people just know what they're doing with their money.
Is that what made you so specifically passionate to help women? Was you walked in that office, looked around and said, there is no other woman in here, like
Yeah.
I need
I
to fill
mean,
this gap.
that
Like I need to be there to help women feel comfortable.
that, and I think like working in corporate finance for 10 years, I was constantly surrounded by men, women and men, but it was predominantly male. And I just felt like I could never compete as a new mom with the 22-year-old dude that could
Yeah.
work until 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I was just determined that I could be a really good mom and have a kick-ass career.
Mm-hmm.
And you were not going to tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of stigma of like, either you're not fully showing up to work or you're not fully showing up for your family and you're constantly being pulled. And I'm like, no, you can have both, and I'm going to find a way to have both. And for
Yeah.
me, it was transitioning to the personal practice side where I, own my own practice and I'm more in control so that I choose, how I'm spending my time. But I want to empower other people and other women that they can have both and they can,
Mhm.
have the career and be successful, but they can also, have a family or have a personal life and
Yeah.
have both.
That's awesome. I love that. So you really got to meet two things there where you were able to get more control of your schedule so you could be the mom and the career woman that you wanted to, but also while empowering other women and helping them be their
Yeah.
best. I love that. Okay, so for the woman who already has hives, like she has hives and she's, just like, "Ugh, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're going to talk about this. Like I don't even know what to do. I don't have any money. Like I'm already over budget. I can't even entertain this." Like, lady, we're talking to you. We're talking to all of you, but we're talking to you too. So, where is where is the best place to start? Like if someone, like let's say I know absolutely nothing about money, I don't feel like I have a dime that I can even invest in this, and I walk into your office, where are you going to start with me to help me figure out how to have a clue because I have negative clue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm first going to tell you
Hmm.
and reassure you that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like it's way more common than we think. And then I'm going to ask you what your goals are, what your values are, what's important to you, what would make you happy, what would you want this to look like? And, typically I ask a little bit about your background and how you grew up because it's 90% logic or sorry, 90% experience and emotion and 10% logic. And so
Wow.
many of our experiences set that tone for how we think about money, feel about money, and handle it.
Yeah.
And so
My
that's
husband and I were, yeah, we were talking about this last night at dinner, and they always talk about how in every marriage there's a spender and a saver.
Mhm.
And we were talking this conversation around where it's realizing like I'm the saver and I like hoarding it and holding on to it. And he, the moment he gets it, he just wants to spend it. And he started laughing hysterically because I remember that we were lying in bed the night before and he said something. I said something and he goes, "You got a dollar?" And I said, "Actually, I have three $1 bills, two 20s, a 50, and two 100s in my wallet right now," which is just weird because no one carries cash anymore.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Do not tell me that your birthday money is still in your wallet and you haven't touched it or spent it." And I was like, "No, my birthday's in January." I know. And I'm like, no, I haven't touched or spent it, and it's still there waiting for me to find something that makes me really happy, and then I'm going to do something with it. And so then we're talking about this, and he goes, "Yeah, you're the girl that it is October, and for your birthday from January, you still have your birthday cash in your wallet. You haven't touched it, you haven't spent it." And I said, "Yeah, and you spend your birthday money 10 times before my parents ever even send it to you." Like half the time I think that my parents give me cash for my birthday money knowing that I'm weird and I just like holding on to it. And him, they Venmo it to him because he basically he hasn't spent 10 times. I'm not even kidding, before it's even his birthday month. And so we were talking about spender versus saver. And I'm like, well, I think it's because I grew up on a farm where you better hold on to everything that you have because you might have made 1 million this year, but next year you're going to lose two. And for him, when his parents got divorced, it was like, well, you better spend that money right now because they might need it from you to help pay the house tomorrow. So it created like a really different dynamic, but we'd never, I don't know, I guess I'd never thought about it situationally like that, like where it actually probably started from.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so true. I mean, if I have clients, their parents filed for bankruptcy, and now they hoard their money because it's this
Mm,
sense of, oh my gosh, I could lose it all. Am I going to have
yeah.
enough? And it's a security thing.
Yeah.
And so, we talk about that first. It's like, what are your values? What do you want? Because I tell people, you can Google Finance 101 and you're going to get a million different answers. And they're all right and they're all wrong for somebody. But like Chelsea, what you might want could be completely different than what I want, and that's okay.
Yeah. But I
We're
think that's why you should work with someone. Just like
Yeah.
an accountant knows specifically how to make sure you do your taxes right and well, you know the things that I could spend the next year researching, but why when you can do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that, I guess this is a question that people would ask, is what does it look like to have someone like you do that service? Like, is it expensive? Is it manageable? Like, how does that work? I think that's probably another question people go,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
does it even
So
work? What does it look like?
usually we get into it and it's like we just get to know each other and see if we're a good fit, right? Because it's got
Hmm.
to be a good vibe. You
Yeah,
have
it's
to
got to
like me,
trust.
you have to
Yeah.
trust me, and vice versa, right? Because oftentimes we're entering into a 30 or 40-year long relationship. And so my clients become friends, and you're going to call me on the best days when you get a promotion, and maybe the hardest days if there's something terrible that happens. And so, we want to make sure we're a good fit. Then we kind of get into, what we provide, what services we provide. Again, I am fiduciary, so certified financial planning professional. And with that, we talk about a lot of things: tax planning, estate planning, investment planning, insurance planning. And so we just kind of share a little bit about the services that our team does, get to know you and what you're looking for. If it's a shorter term goal, if it's like, hey, am I on track for retirement? I'm getting inheritance. What do I do with this money? How do I help
Mm,
save for my kids for college? We kind
yeah.
of see where you're at. And then oftentimes we'll build out a full financial plan for you and say, hey, based on what you're doing right now, this is what it looks like. And then here is what we would need to do in order for you to hit those goals that you said you wanted, right? And then we can kind of, break down
Yeah.
multiple different versions of, okay, well, maybe you're retiring at 62 instead of 60, and, put the pieces together to figure out what you want to do. And then
And
we
then
just
it's
help
kind of
you.
like, yeah, and like the management fees of everything all just kind of work inside of that.
Yeah. Yep. So
Yes. Right.
I would say the majority of our, like how we're paid is based on assets under management. So when we're managing wealth for our clients, there's a fee on that, and that's pretty industry standard.
Yeah. Just like a realtor,
Yeah. Hmm.
right? Just like you would never want to sell your own house and deal with knowing all the paperwork. It's really kind of the same,
Yeah. You could
right?
totally do it, right? And some people choose to do it and they enjoy it. But, that realtor has the experience. They're doing it all day. They might have a different market available, so they might get you a higher price. And so it's the
Mm,
same with us. Like, we have a pretty large team. We have, really well trained individuals that are living and breathing this information every single day. And so most people choose to work with us because they want to hire a CEO to
hmm.
help them make the decisions, be a partner to them so that they don't have to try and figure it all out all on their
Yeah.
own.
I mean, I don't even want to be an expert on cleaning my own house. I definitely don't want to be an expert on managing my own wealth,
I'm with you.
right? Like there let's all run in our own lane. Okay, so let's talk about the woman who feels like, I got to pay down debt first. And
Yeah.
that she's always, we talked about this before we hit record, y'all, there. We're always waiting to be to a different spot. Like when I get there, then. So what do you do for the woman that is waiting to pay down debt first to start saving and investing?
Yeah. I hear that so often,
Hmm.
right? And just the
Yeah.
the society that we're living in, the environment that we're in, like we have an instant gratification. And so it's like the next car and the next, right? Like we're consumers. And so there are typically higher debt ratios. Um, what I find is that financial planning, retirement planning, whatever it might be for you, it always feels important, but it never feels urgent. It's like, oh, well, I can do that next year. Or, yeah, after this is paid off, we'll meet with somebody. And the years go by so often. And I can't
And you
tell you,
lose the
yeah,
magic of compound interest.
yes. And I can't tell you how many pre-retirees I meet with that say, man, I really wish somebody would have told me this 20 years ago, or I wish I would have done this sooner. And yeah, it's important and it is kind of urgent. Like maybe you don't need to make drastic changes right now, but knowledge is power. And just understanding where you're at and what you could do
Yeah.
is important. And sometimes there are debt consolidation strategies and, things to talk about that shifting things around could have a really big short-term impact for you on your debt to free up some cash flow in order for you to invest more in your future.
Yeah.
So,
Because even, my husband's in college full time at a private university. And so obviously there we've accrued some debt for that. But still, we take about a third of his paycheck and we're putting it into the retirement thing that we get to do through the school because again, like I think some people will go, no, I'm going to pay cash for that. I'm going to pay that down first, and then I'm going to invest after we get his student loans all paid off. And I'm like, well, when compound interest comes into play, if you fast forward, 30 years from now, doing what we're doing will actually be more ahead.
yeah, I just encourage
Yeah.
everybody listening to this to go on good old Dr. Google and look up compound interest
Yes.
and do an image, like go on the image
Yeah.
search, and it will blow your mind.
Yep.
Blow your mind.
Yep. That's when I was in my personal finance class. I think my professor, Dr. Wilson, he was so adamant that the greatest invention of all time was compound interest and how much we underestimate it. But I
Yeah.
mean, compound interest goes more than just with money. Compound interest also goes with, like, if you're eating a donut every day, if you're putting 200 calories in creamer in your coffee every day, like, there's compound interest to that too. Like, I'd once read that, yeah, like, if you have 2 tablespoons of full sugar creamer a day, you're going to gain an extra 12 pounds a year. Money works the same.
Yep.
It's the same. It's just about being consistent. And so we talked about how even the tiniest things where I think the woman that goes, well, I just can't be putting $500 or $1,000 a month in there. But even if she was able to, go to her grocery bill and somehow cut out $50 a week, which we talked about what you do to really control your grocery bill, she could go to her grocery bill, cut out $50 a week. And even if she was just investing that $50 a week, it would matter, right? You could do that. There are people, it's like,
Yes.
what did you say?
Sooner, smaller is always
Hmm.
better than larger later. So
Hmm.
typically what we'll do in one of our first meetings is we'll have our clients go through what we call like a cash flow exercise where it'll have you plug in, okay, how much are you bringing in every month from your paycheck? Like what actually hits the bank account from your income? So like that's what's coming in. And then the first section is going to be your fixed expenses. So mortgage, car payments, internet, things that don't change on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's some opportunity there, not always though, if they're fixed. There's not always a lot we can do with those debts. But then on this, the bottom section is variable spending, and that's gas, groceries, Amazon, dining out. And I will tell everybody it's not the most fun exercise to do. I'll joke if it's like a married couple in here, I'll be like, maybe have a little date night, open a bottle of wine, and do your finances. But look at the last couple months and just see where you've spent money. And it might be a point of tension between the two of you because my husband and I have different things we want to spend our money on. He might
Yeah.
be annoyed of how much I'm spending on Amazon, and I might be annoyed that every time he goes to the gas station, he thinks he needs a treat.
What is that? Is that a Midwest husband thing?
It is. Yeah.
So Kobe could spend $1,000 in less than a week at the freaking 7-Eleven, you know?
Yeah.
He
It's quick
could.
here in the Midwest, but
Okay, that's where he would when he worked at Wells Fargo in Des Moines. I watched him spend $1,000 over a 10-day period at the Quick Trip. I'm like, you do not need a snack on your way to work, on your lunch hour, in the middle of the afternoon, on your like 30-minute break. You do
yeah,
not need that many snacks. And if you do, I will go to Costco and buy you the biggest box of the snack that you would like, and you can bring that with you.
amen. Right?
What is,
Well, we have
yes.
those different things of like what we want
Yeah.
to spend our money on. And so
Yeah.
it's not always fun to look through how we've spent our money for the last few months, but it's a good place for us to start to just see good or bad, good, bad, or ugly, like is our money going? And then oftentimes we can look at, okay, I'm spending. $1,000 a month in eating out. Like, I don't want to do that. If
Do you feel
I
like
can save off from that.
do you feel like most people have a lot of really unconscious spending? Like
Yeah.
they're just numb to it, checked out, trying to survive, trying to get by, not
Because we
even thinking
live
about it.
in that like instant
Yeah.
gratifications and everything is so convenient. Like, how many of you have your credit card hooked up on Amazon? How
Yeah.
often do you just buy now? I mean, out of convenience. And oh, the kids need this for Halloween or, school, homecoming. We all
Yeah.
do it. Eh,
Yeah.
You might, all the days blend together. So it's like, I forget what bought on Amazon 2 days ago. So over the course of an entire
Yeah.
month, right? Like that could
Can
really
even
add up.
I was saying to my friend at Pilates the other day, can you even imagine if we had Amazon when we were in college with all of the theme days? Like we had to get really creative and scrappy with what we had and what you
Yes.
could get at Walmart. There was no Amazon to order it. We were having neon day at Pilates, and here we are, everyone's showing up in a new shirt and in neon glow bracelets and leg warmers. I'm like, where are you guys finding this crap? Which I do not participate in because I'm like, I am not accidentally spending 50 to $100 on a neon outfit for Pilates 1 day a year. That is so dumb. I'm not doing that. But I feel like we have, especially parents, it seems like y'all have these kids have a themed day
Oh my
every
gosh,
few weeks,
yes.
and you're just Amazoning your life away with it.
So true. Yeah.
Right, right. Because you had said that, when I had said to you, like, could a woman even start with just $50 every paycheck? Like, would even that be good? And you said yes, sooner, smaller. And you talked about how, because then it'll really help that savings muscle.
Yeah.
And so the importance of growing that savings muscle.
So we start with that cash flow spreadsheet and we say, hey, okay, we are spending too much on groceries. Can we try and shave that off a little bit? Or sometimes
Yeah.
it does show that there's money left over every month,
Hmm.
but people don't feel like there is money left over. And
Yeah.
so one of my favorite strategies is treating savings like a bill, where,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it does say on paper that there should be $300 left over. Well, what if we set up, once a month or twice a month, the first and the 15th, and we set it up like auto pay? But instead of paying your car payment, we're paying future Chelsea,
Mm-hmm.
where it's first and the 15th, $200 on the first and the 15th, right? And it's out of sight, out of mind into this other account. And then from that account, we can tell it where to go. If it's an investment, if it's savings, etc. But you build that savings muscle. And what I would say 9 times out of 10, when we get back together after a couple months of doing that, I'll ask people, how does it feel? And they say, I
Yeah.
don't even notice it.
Yeah.
And
Because
it's
if
like,
someone has, let's say somebody has $200 left after every paycheck, and they're going, oh, I'm either going to throw it to my car payment or my mortgage. Would you say throw it at car payment or mortgage? Or would you say, no, start investing, start the savings and investing muscle?
well, I think it depends on the individual, right?
Mm,
Because it depends on your goals and where you're at. It depends on your mortgage interest rate, your car interest rate. Are you on track for retirement? Like, is your emergency fully funded? But I would say, again, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't make sense to throw it at your mortgage if you have a lower interest rate and even a car payment because, you know, compound interest versus simple interest
mm-hmm.
again is really impactful. So,
Yeah.
sometimes it's like if we can free up and take that couple $100 and invest it, you run that compound interest calculator, and it's like, wow, that's going to be really impactful because now my interest is making interest.
And again, then it's more about the habit of it. Like going to the gym 2 days a week is better than not going to the gym at all.
Yeah. And you do
Because it,
$200 a paycheck, and then
yeah,
6 months later, it's like, yeah, I don't notice it. What if I bump it by $50? Right? And so subconsciously, if we see leftover money in our checking account, I mean, we're human. We give ourselves permission to
to
spend it.
spend,
Yeah.
to
And
spend. Yeah.
so, if we don't see it, if it's out of sight, out of mind, we figure out how to adjust. It's just like, okay, let's say my car payment is going to be paid off next month. I usually recommend for my clients, like, hey, let's keep paying that car payment, but we pay it to future Chelsea for your
Yeah.
next vacation because you're already used to paying it every month. So let's keep doing it.
Yeah, yeah. I absolutely love that. I love that. And I think it's little thoughts like that that people don't, they're just not thinking about. I think where one of the things that we did, we even just switched cell phone companies, and our cell phone went from being, 370 a month down to 217.
That's
I don't know,
huge.
150 bucks. And I think there are little places like that that we can look at in our life going, "Oh my gosh, I can save $50 here." Because that was my goals. I was looking at our bills going, "Where can I save 20 to $200 on all these things that we're paying? Where can I save 20 to $200?" And so that was one of the things where I went and just comped other places, and apparently going from Verizon to AT&T made a huge difference. AT&T gives a 25% educator discount.
Awesome.
Verizon was not only more expensive, but they don't give that discount. AT&T did, and so then we were able to take that and then shove that more, increase that savings. So I think there's a lot of tiny little places, but I think your cash flow worksheet, and I think it is so emotional for people. So getting to work with someone like you, who you have such stable emotions around it, I think is comforting to women.
Yeah. And when you said like people just like don't know,
Yeah.
they don't
They
know
don't know what
what
to
to
do.
do, right?
Yeah,
And
they don't know
that's
what to
so
do.
common. But then also people just like
Yeah.
they maybe feel like they should be doing something, but they don't know where to go or how to start.
Mm,
And so
agree.
again, like having the first conversation, that's the first step.
Yeah. That
And
that really is. It's not you
yes.
should invest here ABC. It's you should probably just have a conversation with me so we can figure out what are your goals so we know where to start.
And you
Correct?
don't have to do it alone. I mean,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
isn't something that you have to spend so much time on and it's going to be this huge commitment. It's like,
Yeah.
let somebody help you. It's hard to sometimes ask for help, but like, I think I said this to you before, like, I could do my own taxes, but I'm not going to because I'd probably owe way more than I needed to because I don't know all the, tips and tricks because I'm not spending every day in that.
Yeah. And there's people it again, give it to the experts. And I think people think, "Oh, I'm going to figure it out myself. I don't have the money to leave it to the experts." But the thing is, like, you don't have the time and money not to leave it to the experts. They're the experts for a
So
reason.
important.
Uh,
And that's like your financial future, like that's too important to try and figure it out on your own.
Agreed. Agreed. Real quick, before we dive back in, I want to share something I created for the women who are growing, but still kind of feel like they're doing it alone. If that statement just hit, then this is for you. I've never felt so aligned and so alone, is the message I kept hearing as more and more women were falling in love with their life doing what they were born to do. They were craving that like minded, iron sharpening iron relationship with other women who were as focused, powerful, and determined to be positive as they were. And that is why I created the Growth Collective. It's our All Things Excellence book club community where you don't have to read the book because audio and PDF Cliff Notes are provided for you. There's a community for you to connect and network with other growth-minded women, plus 2 monthly Zooms where you receive connection and live coaching from me. Head on over to chelseadbc.com/book club to join us. All right, let's get back into it because what you're hearing today is exactly why spaces like the Growth Collective exist. We were never meant to grow alone. Okay, so what about the woman who says, "Oh, my husband takes care of that"?
Uh, so you've heard this before, but I always tell women
Yeah.
a man is not a plan.
Yeah, y'all, that's what stuck out. I will never forget sitting in that hotel conference room and you going, "A man is not a plan."
It's just, I love my husband dearly, and
Yeah.
we're all about delegation. Like we both have things that we're better at, but do I know how to change my oil? No. But do I know how to check to see if I need an oil change? You betcha.
Yeah, and if he wasn't there, you know how to find a place to take it to have someone change your oil.
Exactly. And
Right.
so my husband doesn't enjoy finances, but he's also a business owner. And it's something that he's had to
Yeah.
dive into. And
It's called adulting,
yeah. And so
right? Yeah.
if your husband takes care of it, if you don't know who your financial advisor is, because I hear that all the time, like, yeah, my husband takes care of it. He meets with the person. Like, I don't know.
Mm.
Girl, I
You
love
mean
you,
there's
but
a lot of women that they're not even showing up to the meeting?
yeah. Yeah, they have not met their advisor. And I'm gonna say, like, if this is you, girl, I love you, but that is a cop out and that is irresponsible. Like,
This is how women end up divorced with no money.
yeah. Or your
And their
husband,
husband,
something happens and now you don't even know
yeah,
what to do or where to start.
or who to call. You don't even know who to call to go, do we have any money?
Yeah.
Mm,
And so it's like you need to be in on the conversation. Now, do you have to understand the ins and outs of everything? No, and no one's
yeah.
asking you to. But you
Yeah.
need to be there. You need to have a say. Um, like it's just too, again, too important not to. You have to like the advisor. You and your partner should decide together who you're working with, and it should be somebody you both feel good about. Because we see it time and time again, like tomorrow's not promised. Women typically outlive men.
Mhm.
And
Oh, talk about that. The great wealth transfer.
yeah, so if you haven't heard of the Great Wealth Transfer, about $124 trillion is going to be controlled by women by the year 2030. It's only 5 years. And things are just shifting because,
Because,
with,
yeah, what were the factors with it? You listed some
yeah.
factors to me that it's.
So more and more women are the breadwinners. So
Mhm,
women are either going to earn it,
mhm,
they're going to marry it, they're going to divorce it, they're going to outlive it, or
mhm,
they'll inherit it.
mhm.
And with that, women are starting to have more of a say in the finances, and women are typically a little more likely to maybe be a little more risk averse. Maybe they're going to probably take a little bit of a different approach than, maybe your typical male would. Like they might want somebody that's going to have more of a hands-on approach and help them guide them through it versus like, oh, I'll just kind of figure it out on my own. And, with these things happening, like if you're, like for me, for example, like my parents, I'll say are first generational wealth. Like they didn't receive inheritance. But, at this point with where my parents are at, likely my sister and I would receive inheritance. We also grew up on a farm. Like that's not something we've ever thought about as receiving an inheritance. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of people like me. And so
Mhm,
it's like these things happen, and then
mhm.
what? Where do you go? What do you do with it? And, whether it's, something that you want to talk about, you kind of have to.
Yeah. You need to know. You need to get figure it out. You got to be well versed in it. I like enough, right? You need to know enough to know if something happens,
Where to go, who to
who
talk
to
to.
call and where did it go. I have a book like a growth book club community, and we read this book and we jump on Zoom twice a month and just talk about the book. And we're reading the book this month, Rewire for Wealth by Barbara Houston. And she said something like women are like 30% more likely to have fear around investing money.
So true. Yeah.
Yeah. And more want to be more conservative in their spending and in their investing, right?
And
Right.
sometimes women feel like they have to understand it all to be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Um, you
So they
know,
just avoid it altogether. They're
yeah,
like, if I don't have time to figure it all out, I'm just going to avoid it altogether.
yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say are the most common questions that you get from women who are investing? Maybe they've been investing for a little while or they're just ready to get started.
Yeah. I'll say one question that I often have. One, well, first, one statement that I hear often is that women are like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what
Yeah.
questions to ask. And I just tell them that's okay. This is a judgment-free zone. Like,
Yeah.
in the first couple meetings, I'm asking most of the questions. I just want to learn about you. And so it's okay if you don't really know yet, right? We
Yeah.
empower through education. So you're not going to be, probably an expert, but we'll have you understanding enough to at least like know what's going on. Um, One question oftentimes that I will get is, how are we doing? Am I doing okay? Like for a, 40-year-old married couple, like, do we have enough
Hmm.
saved?
Yeah.
And that's such a hard question because, again, like I was saying earlier, what you want, Chelsea, might be different than what I want. And so I can't just say, oh, you have $500,000 in your 401k. Yep, you're good. Because what do you want in retirement? What age do you
Yeah.
want to retire?
Well,
And
what are your goals? Like I have a friend, Amy, she wrote a book all about this, the book I See You, and in there, her financial advisor was like, here's the deal. If you want to pay for your kids' college, you're not making enough. Like you have to make more money. You got to figure it out. The only way to do that is to make more money, to invest more money.
yeah,
Right? But like some people might go, my kids can pay for their own college. I'm not worried about
Yeah.
that.
And that's okay, right? There's not a right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's just life's about choices. And so we kind of lay out the choices of like, okay, well, if you want this is what you have to do. If you're okay with not having that, then you can do this. And so, that's kind of the individualized approach that we take is, well, I can't give you that answer until I know more about you and what you want. But then, yeah, we could run the numbers, run the projections, and show you where you're at. So I'd say that's a really common question that we get. Um, I also will say, like, so often women particularly are nervous about coming in, or they have this anxiety and this shame or this fear. And 99% of the time, by the time they walk out of the first meeting, they feel better. Like they
Yeah.
just feel this weight lifted by just like talking about it. Like there are so many people that have cried during meetings, like just in they're like, I just didn't even think that this was possible. Being able to tell someone they can retire or helping them with credit card debt, whatever it may be. So again, like you might not even know what questions to ask, but
Hmm.
just starting the conversation.
Yeah. It is that kind of a confused mind does nothing thing. And so if you're super confused, you don't know where to start, you don't even know what to do, then you just do nothing and you shut down. That's where I think step one is just meeting with you and going, are we a great fit and what are your goals and where do we even go from here?
And it's
So
not
do you,
even just building wealth, but even protecting your
yeah.
family. I mean, so many people don't
Mm,
even think about, do I have the right amount of life insurance? Do I have disability insurance in case something happens and I'm off work for an injury or an illness? Like,
yeah.
is my family protected? And again, that's sometimes a scary conversation to have, but we need to have it, get it out of the way, and then hopefully we never have to talk about it again.
Yeah. I have a friend where her husband died in an accident a few years ago, and there was a lot that happened after that because with a lot of paperwork, like I think a lot of stuff was in his name. And so for him to just up and die out of nowhere with literally an accident made a lot of work for her and a lot of hoops that she had to jump through just because they weren't set up with, and sometimes it is just that, right? Where it's like even your parents, it's like, are things rolled into an estate so when they pass away, is it's not going to go to the state, but it's going to go, to the right place. And then I have a friend, her husband died in the last 6 months of cancer. And a lot of it's that stuff. Like you got to make sure that if one of you passes away in a car accident on your way home today, that the spouse and the kids aren't just left with no place to go or a lot of hoops to jump through because you just didn't have both of your names on a house or something,
Yeah. And
right?
or your, will set up, your
Yeah,
state fund set up, right?
yeah,
Things go through probate, which is super
yeah.
lengthy and super
Probate's
expensive.
not fun.
No.
Yeah, but you don't have to do probate if you're prepared,
Right. Absolutely.
right? Yeah, and the when I get there then does not work when it comes to accidents.
No. We
No,
always
we
think
gotta,
like that it's not going to be us, right? But
yeah,
we all know people that these things have happened to, and I
yeah,
guarantee that they thought this would never be them.
agree, agree. Is that kind of, when I talk about the most common fears that you hear from women, is it that I don't even know where to start? Are there any other fears that are just big fears for women around this?
I would say don't know where to start, or like I'll never be able to do enough to get there. Like they
Mm,
just assume like there's not enough cash flow. I've tried everything. I'll never be able to retire. I would say like, that's something that I often hear too.
yeah. Do you think a lot of that is that I'll never be able to retire, there'll never be enough? To me, I feel like there are so many things like that that people say, and they don't even know they're saying it. They're saying it because their parents said it, and their parents said it because their parents said it, right? Where and I think that's where working with someone like you, where you're in these tiny conversations with them, helping them find these tiny little pivots that they can make. And sometimes it is just the mental pivot of like, we don't have to think that thought anymore.
Yeah,
I'm going to help you. Like, you will be able to retire. And it's going to start with $50 a paycheck, but you will be able to retire.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, um, is there any Is there any tiny little tip that you want to? So before we end, y'all, we were talking about before we started how I said people need to get on it. Like, y'all can't just fall asleep with this until the new year because there's stuff that you can still get in for year-end stuff, saving strategies, tax strategies, right? Like, there's still things that people would want to meet with you before the year ends where they can get started on this to get in on 2025 stuff, correct?
Yeah, you bet. So,
Yeah.
like for a Roth IRA or traditional IRA, you have until you file your taxes, so April 15th, to still do that for 2024.
Oh, I didn't even know. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I personally didn't know that. And somehow, because of the way it increased last year, but because Kobe out of school, we max it out. But because our school year starts in the middle of the summer, not the beginning of the year, so it adjusts, it always increases. And so we missed being able to put some in there last year.
Well,
But I
so
didn't know it.
work plan might be different. I would say most work plans are going to be calendar
Yeah.
year, but
Yeah.
just you can open your own Roth IRA,
Yeah.
that you own and control, and you have up until tax time for that.
Yeah.
So that's
No
one thing.
way.
Yeah. Another
Okay.
thing that I will say that's going to be changing is if you are in or near retirement, or
Hmm.
your parents are in or near retirement, um, but yet maybe not on Medicare yet for health insurance. There are some changes with the subsidies in coming in 2026. The cliff is coming back, so pre-COVID.
Wait,
So
what? I'm sorry, the cliff?
yeah, for health insurance subsidies. So right
It's
now,
literally called the cliff?
yeah, so it got passed through the Big Beautiful Bill Act. But essentially now for next year, for married filing jointly, you can only show 80,000 of taxable income and in order to qualify for the subsidies. So it could be a matter of I'm paying $0 in health insurance or I'm paying $1,000 a month in health insurance.
Whoa.
So now is the time to have that conversation because we're doing a lot of planning over these next couple months of, hey, do we need to do big Roth conversions? Do we need to, make some changes and have money in different places so that we can, um, you know, manipulate your taxable income for next year to be able to help with your health insurance costs?
Okay, I need to talk to my parents about that. My dad is 70 and my mom is 66, and that's one of their biggest things is that my dad has been helping the county for years and they get insurance through that. And so it's this, when we no longer do that, it's this whole like Medicare insurance thing. And so I think he keeps dragging his feet, not because of the money, but because of like the insurance alone. I think they have like a weird
Sure.
unknown fear around that.
Yeah.
I need to tell them that. That's funny. And so it's literally called the cliff.
Well, it's like, this year you could
Yeah,
have
we refer to it as a cliff.
shown like 120,000 of income and probably paid like $6 a month in health insurance premiums, whereas next year it's 80,000. So,
Wow.
it's just making sure that you're working with your insurance professional, your certified financial planning professional, just like what are we going to show for your taxable income next year and where are you getting money from so that you don't have this big surprise of what your health insurance costs are.
Yeah. And this right here is why you hire someone, guys. This is why you don't handle this yourself. This is why you hire a professional who's in it every single day, who knows all the tiny details. Like, I don't want to sit around and read the articles and the fine prints knowing this kind of stuff.
Right. You don't want to miss
Absolutely, I
that.
don't.
Can be big.
Yeah, definitely texting my parents in that group chat after this, being like, "Did you guys know this? Did you know this is coming? The cliff is coming." Um, Okay, that's incredible. Okay, so to close this out, what is the permission that you would love to give to the woman who's just too scared or uncertain to start? Just that piece of like permission, grace.
Yeah. You deserve it. Like you deserve to take care of yourself, right? It's just like you take care of yourself physically, mentally. You got to do it financially too. And you deserve this. I mean, and I always tell people like I care about my kids. Like we love our kids.
Sure.
And the best thing you could do for your kids is being in a good financial position yourself. Think of the trickle down effect of how that's going to impact them, of just you learning how to talk about these things and, what to do. And even if you have a conversation with somebody, whether it's me or somebody else, and you learn one thing out of that, that is time well spent.
Yeah. I think
So,
about the woman who doesn't feel like she knows enough or is smart enough to tell her husband, I want to know, I want to be in on the meetings, like I want to be a part of this, I want to be in the conversation. And no matter what he says, you do.
you do.
You do. You're a smart woman. you've gotten this far in life. You
Yeah.
absolutely are smart enough to sit in there and at least be aware of the
Yeah.
conversations that are being
You
had.
deserve a seat at the table and
Mm.
ask questions.
You deserve a seat at the table.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so you can work with anyone in America.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
We can work with anyone across the country. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I would love to, I
Mhm.
love meeting new people. So I would love to connect with anyone that's interested in just having a conversation with me or a team member. Again, we usually just start with that introductory meeting to just see if we're a good fit, both ways and learn a little bit more about you. And then we can talk more about like what that planning arrangement would look like.
Okay, so what's the best way for someone to book an introductory meeting with you?
Yeah, so I have a link to my calendar. I
Okay.
think it maybe sent you that, my QR
Yep.
code. So, they
Yep.
can go right on the calendar and find a time that works for them. Otherwise, you can also email me at hilary.hoff@nm.com and just inquire that way, and we can send you the link there too. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right, y'all, we will drop all of the goodness, all the ways to get a hold of her, to schedule a meeting with her. We're going to drop it all in the show notes. So you can just scroll down in the show notes, grab that. I just really encourage you to reach out with her and talk with her because you're just, you're so, not only are you so easy to talk to about it, I think you make women feel so at ease about it, but also where you come from with really wanting women to realize they deserve to have a seat at the table, helping them feel empowered about what they're doing, making them feel like you don't have to know everything, but you do deserve to be a part of the conversation. And I want to help you have a little bit more awareness about this. So I'm a
And I
huge
will
advocate.
I appreciate that. And I will say, like, I've had so many women say, I don't know if my husband would have been totally on board with this if we were working with a guy instead of you, because he
Hmm.
doesn't know a lot about this either. And you just like make it. So I also want to say it's not like I only work with women. I work with a lot of
Yeah.
spouses, a lot of guys too.
Hmm.
And, again, all the way around want to make you guys
Yeah.
feel comfortable and heard.
Yeah. I honestly, that was my thought was, gosh, of all the people in the world, Kobe would feel so comfortable talking to you because I think as a man, sometimes when a man who is like my husband just is like,
And mine too.
I don't
It's like,
know.
what? Yeah.
What? I don't know how much that costs. I don't know. Where's our electricity through? Those guys. For those guys who it's not their thing and they don't, he doesn't have any pride or ego or like man card that he's trying to protect all the time. I do think then it's a little scary for them to go in this meeting with these bros who are trying to throw around all this lingo and make them feel like they should know all these things and like have their little man card thrown around. And I think that you can make anyone feel so comfortable with that, where they also feel like they're a part of the conversation and, not emasculated.
Yeah. That's the goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I love it. Y'all, we couldn't have had a better place to kick off our Financial Friday series just to get people thinking about it and realizing, now we're going to head into weeks of learning how to budget, learning how to save money on groceries, learning how to maximize savings with travel points and things like that, and learning all those tiny little tips that are going to free up some money here and there. And even if it's only $50 a paycheck, y'all can run to Hillary and she can help you choose your next best yes of what to do with that $50 extra that you're finding a paycheck. Or maybe you'll find 500. You never know. We might be saving you a lot of money on your groceries next week.
Heck yeah.
Everyone's going to be getting the Walmart grocery delivery. Who knew it was free? I did not. You did.
Yeah, it's a subscription that you have to pay for, but
Yeah. What is it, like 100, $150 a month or something? Or a year.
yeah. Yeah, it's like $10 a month maybe, but they don't upcharge anything and then delivery is free.
Yeah. Okay. Which is not Instacart. Not that we don't love Instacart, but
There's an
that was my thing
upfront.
with Instacart.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. All right. Well, thank you again for taking time to join us today
Yes,
to
thanks
do
for
this.
having me.
Yes. All right. All things excellence, fam. Until next time, we will see you back here next week where we're going to learn how to find the little money that's floating around and save it so you can invest it with Hillary. Talk to you guys next time. Thanks for listening to All Things Excellence. If something landed with you today, I'd love for you to follow the show, share it with a friend, or leave a quick review. It helps more women find these transformational conversations. And if you're ready for support with your next step, or needing someone to stand in the gap with you to figure out what that even is, I'd love to create that space for you, and my intro clarity call is a great place to start. because life is too quick and too full to have to figure it out alone. Until next time, All Things Excellence fam, thank you for listening.